Hello again everyone. So this is a somewhat shorter video, just showing you guys how I was able to beat the Exhibition Plus boss event with only 3 turns, so basically just 3 teams. I'll be talking a little bit about how the boss works and what maybe you'll have to take into account just in case you want to try something similar. But in any case, the first phase, the most important thing here is to actually stop the boss from using his burst, because his burst actually deals a lot of damage. So to do that, we use Magical Kasumi and Dancer, I guess, Ruka here to reduce his TP as much as possible. I don't know if you noticed there, but Ruka actually dies, but we don't really care too much about it because Eris, being broken as she is, she does give everybody a revive eventually. So Ruka dying, she just comes back immediately, so it doesn't really matter too much. As you can see, the boss basically doesn't burst at all, so no one really dies. And that way they can actually complete the first phase. Now on the second phase, we can actually focus a little bit more on DPS. We can actually use 6-star Makoto here at the front as a quote-unquote tank. She's not really a tank, of course, but she not being a tank, she will be taking a lot of damage. And in a lot of cases, she will almost die, and then she will eventually actually die. And in this phase, we actually need to set Eris over here, because if she isn't set, she's not going to use her barriers in time, making it so Makoto actually dies eventually. Of course, we also use Alchemist Karin here to reduce the damage of the enemy by quite a bit, while also increasing our defense. That way Makoto actually survives the whole fight. And of course the revive from Eris also helps. That way she can actually deal damage and actually contribute for the team, you know? Now moving on to the third and final phase, this is the equipment I used. It was a little bit strange because, of course, as you might have noticed, I don't have Commander Makoto, so I had to use a support for this one, and the previous one, of course. But the EX equipment from Commander Makoto was actually kinda weaker than I was expecting. I had another support, and that support actually had better equipment, but for some reason, I don't really know exactly why, but this weaker Makoto ended up being better for this last phase. The better, quote-unquote better Makoto, for some reason, just didn't really deal enough damage, or the other characters didn't really deal enough damage. And even with this Makoto, it was a little bit RNG. Sometimes this team wouldn't actually work. And of course, I still have to mention, we are using Princess Kokoro here for the buffs and TP generation. She of course has some really strong permanent buffs, so that way they can actually deal as much damage as possible. Here in this phase we don't really need to focus as much on defense, but of course having Eris is still very good because she is kind of busted, as you guys might know. But yeah, that's basically it for the boss fight. Rather simple to understand, it's just kinda tricky to figure out the right characters to actually fill in each job, I guess. Yeah, that's basically it, and I'll see you guys on the next video.